Aloha, folks. The name is Roya, and this is Rockman, the original. Yes, you've got your 6 robot masters, or 8 if you count Rockman and Roll, and you've got a lot of stuff to go into in this game. This is Capcom's real only good shooter game before, Super Ghouls and Ghosts came out, in my opinion. I find the Super Ghouls and Ghosts is pretty fun. But hey, we're talking about Megaman here, not Ghosts and Goblins or Ghouls and Ghosts. We'll get to that soon enough. But nevertheless, you play as Rock, who becomes a fighting robot because Dr. Albert Wily, who worked alongside with Dr. Thomas Light, stole 6 robots and decided to destroy the world. Or attempted to destroy the world. So what Rock decides to do is he decides to go into battle armor, or at least have Dr. Light turn him into a fighting robot, and yeah. Now originally the robots were supposed to be just these good old household helping robots with no intent to kill whatsoever, but Wily programmed them this way, and of course Rock, being the happy, not happy-go-lucky, but more of a peaceful-minded person who always has the ambition to save people from trouble, I don't blame him for having to do this. Nevertheless, this is Cutman's stage, and unlike how Clement does his playthroughs, I don't have the old, what do you call it? I don't have the old, the bio disc things from Megaman and Base or Rockman and Forte that I'd be able to read off what every character's, what every robot master's abilities and instincts or bio are. I can't do that because I don't have all the discs. Needless to say, this will actually be a hassle when trying to 100% Rockman and Forte. I'll get to that at another time, though. But nevertheless, Cutman, he has a pair of scissors on his head, and well, if you guessed it, this is a rocky area, even though I feel this is like the Emerald Tower from one of the Pokemon games. But, yeah, Rock beats Scissors, always, so yeah, that pretty much explains why the weakness to Cutman is, well, it's not Rockman, even though the Rock Buster, which is what I'm using right now, is the primary weapon for all the Robot Masters. But Gutsman is actually the robot that I should have went with first, so I can get these, what do they call it? I think they call it the Super Arm or something. It's some kind of arm ability, which allows you to pick up these big pieces of rock that I can just throw at enemies. Kills Cutman in 2 hits. One thing about this game in particular that I do find to be a bit different than the other Mega Man games, well, the first major difference that you might notice if you're going into this game from Mega Man 2 or something, you'll notice that this has a scoreboard, and no other Mega Man game has a scoreboard because you don't, it doesn't help you out with getting 1-ups or whatever, because there's always 1-ups found within the area. But yeah, that's pretty much the only major difference between the original Mega Man games and the later ones. I personally like that this game has a score feature. I mean, who else wouldn't want to play this game and get to 9,999,900 because you can't fill up all the zeros with 9s. Yeah, it's always fun to fill up the score in this game. It does take a bit of a while, but because the Robot Masters give you about 100,000, 50,000 points, it's always randomized. It's very fun. Nevertheless, here's Cutman, who I actually intentionally die to because sadly I have too little health. And the Japanese version gives you much more damage, surprisingly enough. Too much damage that the US version of the game had to be altered a bit, so it's easier to defeat these Robot Masters. But nevertheless, what you were seeing there, Cutman, he either runs or jumps at random times. He'll then, if he's standing around for 1-2 seconds, he'll then probably throw his boomerang scissors, or as it's called in the instruction manual, rolling cutter. He'll try to throw it at you, it reacts like a boomerang, just like there. I'm figuring it's a magnetic boomerang, because even if he jumps, it even goes right under his feet and he gets it back. which is actually pretty much one of the best design features I've ever seen. It's not a design flaw, but if you ever take a look at the animated series, it does seem to be a bit corny the way they put it. But yeah, that was Cutman, and why do we see grid squares in the background? I have no idea. But nevertheless, we're about to tackle Gutsman with probably one of the most ridiculous stages ever. And here we're actually introduced to a lot of the, one enemy that's in every single game, the Hard Hat. Yes, the Hard Hat is also known as Metul. He just shows his eyes and then shoots fireballs. In fact, we don't even know if it's a he or a she, because we don't know if all these robots are all male or female. Regarding that, the only female robot master was Splash Woman. But we'll get to Mega Man 9 when we get to Mega Man 9. I don't want to play Mega Man 9 right now. I want to deal with this. Very precise platforming segment here. If your jumps are not correct, you will sink to the ground like a rock. Which, I don't believe that I ever show off until Fireman stage in Part 3. But then again, that's another problem with, this game. Rock will fall like a ducking rock, regardless if there's, if he just walks off a platform, he will sink like a rock. If the platform right below him, but right under him, just disappears, he'll sink like a rock. I'm figuring that is why, the physics of this game are more human-based, similar as to how Castlevania did. I can understand that, along with the knockback feature. Well, the knockback in this game is actually much better than that of Castlevania. All that will happen is Rock will just go back half a square, but in Castlevania, Simon flies back 2-3 grid blocks, and it's always tedious. Tedium and annoyance are one of the major problems, and another problem is this thing, the Big Eye. Not the big guy, but the Big Eye. If you touch him 3 times, he will kill you. Guaranteed. I mean, you can try it out. If you have max health, it takes 3 hits to kill you. He's probably the most broken enemy in the game only because he takes 24 hits to kill, unlike 12 in the later games. Nevertheless, here is Gutsman, and his mechanic is he's always throwing rocks or doing heavy jumps. Now, because he is so heavy, Gutsman actually can prevent you from moving or shooting. But if you get hit as the ground begins to shake, you can actually still fire a bit, which can give you the upper hand if you really want to survive in this battle. And this battle in particular is the much more harder one of the bunch. But his weakness is Super Bomb. However, I don't even bother using Super Bomb, because Super Bomb, it's a test of luck if you're going to try to use that weapon, because he's always moving around the place. You never know where he's going to land. Which, trust me, will be an annoyance come Mega Man the Power Battle, which I actually don't own yet. I'm still trying to find the Anniversary Collection so I can play that game. But yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know about Cutman, Gutsman, and more Rockman information up ahead. See you in Part 2.